And now, last but not least, I want to introduce Mr. Italo Vignoli and his presentation named LibreOffice 10th Anniversary, the many faces of global FOSS community. The speech is yours.
Okay, thank you for having me at your event. I was in Athens a few years ago, and of course, coming to Greece is always a pleasure, and I hope to, as everyone, to be back in your country as soon as possible. Maybe not only to make presentation, but also to enjoy the weather and the beaches and the food, which are wonderful. And so we have launched LibreOffice 10 years ago, on July 19, 2000, and it was just 10 years after Sun announced the OpenOffice.org project. So it's a very important anniversary because it's 20 years of the free Office suite and 10 years of LibreOffice. And here you see a timeline. Actually, it's 35 years since Marco Burris, the original developers of StarWriter, developed the first version of the software in 1985. It was not even for DOS at the time, but well, was soon ported to DOS, and then it became an Office suite, and then it was the first one to be available for Linux in 1995, I think. And this is one of the reasons why Sun acquired the Sun Star division, because they needed an Office suite to run on Sun machines. So this was basically the message for the announcement of LibreOffice. We decided to have an independent foundation. It's called the Document Foundation. And we chose LibreOffice as name for two main reasons. One was because we wanted to stress the freedom or liberty in the name. And second, which is not really a secondary reason, is that the domain was available in basically in every country, while all the others, because of the Office termination, which is very popular everywhere in the world, were not available, and it would have been a real issue to have them available in every country. When we announced our objective was to relaunch the innovation. So of course, OpenOffice was a very innovative product in the year 2000 when it was launched. Was the first and the real Microsoft Office competitor at the time. And but after 10 years, the innovation, the level of innovation was probably a little bit lower than in the year 2000. So the community was less conservative than Sun. Sun, like every large company, is a little bit conservative in terms of development. So we wanted to counter the risk of OpenOffice being abandoned by Oracle, that at that time acquired Sun, and the history shows that we were right with our worries. But we didn't want just to avoid that. We wanted to relaunch the product and do something new that after another 10 years, so today, is ready for the next evolution, and we will announce the next evolution in January 2021 together with LibreOffice 7.1. So actually these two pies show on the left the situation before the fork, so before September, on the 10 months before September 28, 2010. And as you can see, there was 66% by the OpenOffice division and 16% by Sun employees. So there was around 80% was developed basically by a single company. After the fork, on the right side, you see the situation was a lot more balanced, and there was a higher number of contributors. Of course, we lost some contributions because some of the, especially some of the people that were developing OpenOffice, we decided not to include their patches at the time because we wanted to have something different. But basically, we looked for a more diverse and inclusive community. And this, we managed to achieve that. We also announced our release plan. It was time-based and with a 6-month cadence. We have 2 major announcements per year. One is in January, February, the other one in July, August. We, in this way, we provide, especially to Linux distributions, a fresh product for their releases. And of course, we provide an updated product also for Windows and Macintosh users. At the time of the announcement, as I said, we announced the Document Foundation. It's based in Germany because, for historical reasons, because the software was first developed in Germany, so there was a large German community. And the page looks a little bit naive today, but the contents are still good. We are actually revising the messages because after 10 years we think that we need to provide some fresh ideas and some vision for the future. At the time we had a next decade manifesto, but now the decade is over, so we need another decade manifesto for until 2030. The principles of the Document Foundation are 5 and are quite easy. They are in line with the FOSS principles. So we have a copyleft license. We inherited LGPL from OpenOffice and we added MPL. We don't have a contributor agreement. Of course, we ask for a license of the code to all contributors. The project is based on meritocracy, so basically people who are doing things are also managing those things and are also leading the project in that area. It's governed by the community. We have members, the Document Foundation has members, and members can be voted or elected and can vote for other members. So we have a board of directors with 7 people and 3 deputies. And we have a membership committee. The board of directors oversees the management of the project, while the membership committee is approving members. So it's the body that will, if you apply for membership, will analyze your contributions and will decide if you are eligible to become a member. And it's vendor independent. There is not a single vendor who controls the document foundation. And we have a threshold of 33% in terms of votes in the two main bodies. So both in the board of directors and in the membership committee, no one can control more than 1/3 of the votes in terms of organization. And of course, this is challenging, but we are in line with our original project. Of course, without developers, we wouldn't have LibreOffice. So developers are a really key asset of the project, and they have been instrumental for attracting new developers. When we announced 10 years ago, OpenOffice code was said to be extremely complex and extremely difficult to deal with. Developers lowered the barrier to entry by selecting small tasks which were easy to tackle for developers who were not senior enough or were not knowledgeable enough with the code. And the LibreOffice code is over 6 million lines of code, so it's not an easy code to deal with. So they managed to have small bits and pieces of development, and in this way we attracted developers. There was a very strong mentoring effort. Here you see Michael Mix mentoring a younger developer. But in this way, we managed to have a continued flow of new developers attracted and coming to the project. These are the first 16 months up to December, 20 months up to December 2012. But the flow of new developers has been continuous also after that date. And we can say that almost every month, but the majority of the month, we have new developers coming into the project and starting contributing to the project, which is rather amazing after 10 years. One of the other task of developer was also to renew the code. So the first development of in version 3.x, there was a code cleaning. In the code that we inherited from OpenOffice, there were still obsoleted libraries. There were contents that were not used for years. So the first task was to clean that code, to have a cleaner code to build upon. And then we started to refactor the code, which means we started to rewrite legacy pieces of code or replace them with newer code. One of the examples is the build system. It was very complex to build OpenOffice. It is trivially easy, of course, for a developer to build LibreOffice. Also, we increased the number of unit tests. Quality is a key factor for Office suites. They are used by people who have the majority of them has no technical skills, and therefore the quality of the product has to be very high to avoid any kind of issue for the user. So we increase the number of unit tests, and we perform the test. We have tested about crashes, import and export of files. We have tested about other part of the software. This is a suite of tests for Calc. Calc is the LibreOffice spreadsheet, of course. Another task that we have almost completed, but the number of comments in German is now really negligible. The software was originally commented, the code was originally commented in German because the majority of developers were German. Of course, this was a barrier to entry for developers not speaking German, because navigating the code and navigating the comments was extremely difficult. So comments have been translated to English now, and they've been deleted or cleaned, if you prefer, if they were not relevant anymore. And I can tell you that there were many comments that were not relevant anymore for the code. And therefore, today, navigating the code is a lot easier, especially for developers that are not coming from Europe and may have some knowledge of German, some basic knowledge of German. You can figure out what it means for someone coming from South America and being native in Spanish, or for someone coming from Asia and being native in an Asian language such as Japanese, Chinese, Indonesian, or any other language. So that has really made the code more accessible to developers, and the evolution of the code shows that this was the right road to take. These are the commits. This is an overview of the commits during the last 2 years. As you can see, there is a large percentage of commits from Collabora. Collabora is a company focused on open source with a division focused on LibreOffice. There is quite a large chunk of commits by volunteers, and we can say that these commits are focused on the user interface, on design, and of course on localization, and also on everything related to quality assurance, which is mostly based by volunteers. Then we have Red Hat. CIB is a German company, also focusing with a division focusing on LibreOffice. And then we have a large number of smaller contributors. The two largest are the city of Munich. They have developers working on LibreOffice. And SIL is a company that is is known for the work on fonts, and is helping LibreOffice with patches related to management of fonts, so especially for Writer and Impress and Draw. Quality, as I said, is very important, so we use tools like Coverity Scan to improve the quality or maintain the quality of the source code. This is the situation at September 12. The situation is not very much different. The scans are weekly. The defect density is still 0.000 and something, and the number of outstanding defects is always lower than 10. So we are under full control of the quality, and this is a comparison with the average number of defects of free open source software and proprietary software. LibreOffice, as I said, is at 0.00 something. Free open source software is at 0.63, and proprietary software is at 0.71. So open source software, as expected, is better than proprietary software in terms of quality, although proprietary software doesn't make public their control panels as open source software does. So we don't know how many defects per line they have, but Coverity knows everything and provides the number for comparison. In addition, we use fuzzing tools. The most known, the most popular, because of the size of the company providing it, is Google OS Fuzz, but we use others which help us in keeping the number of vulnerability low, especially in help us in spotting vulnerabilities before they can reach the end user, which is very important for our end users that as I told you, they are not technically skilled. So these are the commits based on fuzzing, and they are really important. They're not so many, but they're really important. So what we have achieved is a substantial, at the end of all the improvements, the summary is that we paid down a substantial technical debt that we inherited from OpenOffice.org, just because the development was a little bit slowing down at the time we forked. Of course, if we cannot forget developers, we cannot forget the community. So the community is very important for end user support. These are the questions and the comments and the answers that are provided on the Ask LibreOffice website. We are still using Ask LibreOffice. We are evaluating switching to other platforms, and one of them is this course and could be the next one. We also are thankful to volunteers for Bugzilla issues. This is the status of Bugzilla issues. So they're all more or less over the last couple of years. The evolution is absolutely the same, and in any case, we provide all these statistics on the project dashboard, which is available online. And these are the numbers of the community. So you see that there are around 70 core contributors providing more or less 80% of contributions. And then we have 180. And when I say core, they are working more or less daily on the code. Then we have 180, around 180, which are regular, weekly, monthly. And then we have a very large number that are occasional or casual contributors. I would say monthly to quarterly to even in some cases, even once or twice a year. It's very important. The mix is very important because everyone is important in terms of contributions. We have some people providing security patches once a year, but these are key patches, and people providing trivial updates or trivial cleaning on a daily basis, and they're both important. This is the geographical spread of the LibreOffice community. Dark green are the countries where we have members. Light green are the countries where we have contributors. For several countries, we don't have sources of news, unfortunately, so we have to leave them white because we don't have a proof of a local community which is working on or supporting LibreOffice. Last thing to underline about the community, the significant localization effort. LibreOffice with 119 shipping languages is the software shipped in the highest number of languages. We have 26 language projects under development. Some of them do not have a large community of contributors, so they may be very slow, but the fact is that LibreOffice is the single software available in more languages, and more than around 5 billion people worldwide can use LibreOffice in their native language, and maybe more. And this is thanks to these 4,600 users that are active on WebLate. A few pictures of our conferences: Paris 2011, Berlin 2012, Milan 2013, Bern 2014, Aarhus in Denmark 2015, Brno in Czech Republic 2016, Rome again in Italy 2017, Tirana in Albania 2018, and Almeria 2019. Unfortunately, in 2020, we had to switch to a virtual conference. It was in mid-October, and it was a success, but we don't have a similar picture with all the people, unfortunately. Our user base estimate, we estimate to have 100% of desktop Linux users, 10% of desktop Windows users, and desktop macOS users. This gives a total of 250 million users, but as we prefer to be conservative, we reduce it to 200 million users, and we consider 100 million of unique users and 100 million of people that are using LibreOffice and another Office suite. So, but we have a very important user base, and we have a very important number of large users, large enterprises, large corporate users worldwide. The versions today are available in all platforms. So we have a desktop from TDF, we have an LTS version from Collabora and CIB, we have online version from TDF, Collabora, and CIB, we have an Android version from Collabora, iOS and Apple Store version from Collabora, and a Windows Store version from CIB. This is the reason why, and what is unique in comparison to the other Office suite is that all these versions use the same engine, and which is the engine of the desktop version, in different flavors, different ways, but they all rely on that engine. So we are now talking, we have started to talk about LibreOffice as a technology platform, and this is going to be, in terms of positioning, is going to be strengthened with the announcement of 7.1. And then not to forget the open document format, which is the interoperable file format, and it's very important to use that format because it's the only one that guarantees interoperability. Just a quick example, if we use LibreOffice as Shakespeare, LibreOffice is consistent in providing the to be or not to be, that is the question sentence, exactly in the same way. every year, different version of LibreOffice, but same XML line. If you use Microsoft Office, you have a variety of way of writing that sentence in XML. This was 2017. This is 2018. This is 2019. This is 2020. As you can see, there is no consistency, and this is one of the reasons of the lack of interoperability of Office OpenXML as a format. Just one last example. Our brain sees a red square. The computer sees a square with a color which is FF0000. If we describe it with LibreOffice, as you can see, there is a consistent approach in every application, and if described by Microsoft Office, there is a different approach. This is just one example. Of course, there are thousands of examples of this lack of consistency in Microsoft Office formats. One of the consequences, probably the worst consequence of this lack of consistency, is the fact that Microsoft Office formats are used for malware. They were used quite a lot in 2011. This is a research from Symantec, paid by the German government. But this is even worse, as you can see. This is Kaspersky Lab in 2018. 70% of all malware worldwide is carried by a Microsoft Office document. So this is a consequence of the complexity of the documents and the lack of consistency, which makes it easier for people to inject malware into the files. And thank you for listening, and thank you again for hosting me. And if you have questions, I'm happy. Otherwise, you can send me a message and I will be happy to answer the questions.
Unfortunately, you don't have any questions, but I want to say thank you very much about your presentation, and we'll look forward to seeing you again at our next fosscomm, our fosscomm event next year.
Okay. Hopefully face to face.
Hopefully, yeah.
Thank you.
We thank you and have a great night.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.